listening to energizing music, or reading something uplifting. Whichever path you choose, just make sure you find your own way to create positive energy and avoid the negativity that can come at you from gossip or news sources. Stay focused on the positive. Once you've learned how to build your energy, you can work on managing it effectively. Start by assessing your current energy expenditures and identifying areas where you can eliminate energy waste. Some employees come to work, get coffee, chit-chat, catch up on their office gossip, read a little bit of the news, return emails, then it's 11:30, it's time for lunch, all before they actually get any work done. But here's the problem with that. You're a commissioned real estate agent, and what do you think that wasted time will cost you? One thing's for certain, it will absolutely hurt your numbers at the end of the year. Don't believe me? Here's a challenge for you. Take 1 week and log the time and energy you spend on all of your activities in 15-minute increments. All of your activities. Be brutally honest with surfing the internet or long lunches or daydreaming. Then at the end of the week, go back and review your time log. What activities generated the most leads during the week? Do you see your energy, your time leaks? Would your actions change if you knew that wasting time was costing you thousands of dollars? Knowing what actions are the most profitable is important, but knowing what actions are the least profitable is equally important. One example is social media. If used correctly, social media can be a low-cost way to market yourself to people outside of your sphere of influence. However, what if you're not doing it correctly? Is doing it wrong for a longer period of time really helping? Is it really worth it if there's no tangible return on your investment of time? Only you can answer that question, but don't do something because you think you should. Do it because you know it works and you have the data to support it. By the way, if you're not measuring your results, how can you tell if it's worth it? How can you tell if anything's worth it? Think about it this way. In some cases, it might actually save you money to stop working with a prospect. See, it doesn't cost the seller anything to have you market their unsellable property. But the price to you, it's an awful lot of your most precious resource, time. And with that lost time comes the cost of marketing expenses and the potential revenue that you might have generated with a more productive activity. Have you ever done the math to figure out how much your time is worth on a daily or even an hourly rate? I mean, if you're making $40,000 or $50,000 a year, or double that, how much does it cost you to spin your wheels for an hour? What does 15 minutes cost you? How much time are you spending on Facebook or fantasy football? And how much is it truly costing you? Is that time spent an investment? Are you getting a return on it? Or is it a leak? Once you've identified ways in which you can expend energy productively, you can begin planning and managing your calendar differently to maximize your effectiveness. Take a look at your calendar. No, seriously, pause this video, take out your smartphone and look at your calendar. What appointments do you see? Are they profitable actions or busy actions? Worse yet, do you have a blank calendar? If you do, that could be a sign that you let your schedule create you rather than you create your schedule. The calendar should have standard growth activities scheduled every single week, ones that help you grow your business. It's important that you spend time on foundational actions, the ones that help you build a solid base for your real estate business. These actions should include prospecting, but also community involvement and education, like the video that you're watching now. One way to schedule your time effectively is to schedule the most important tasks like prospecting when your energy level is at its highest. That's usually in the morning for most people. Set aside a half hour or more on Sunday and map out how you spend your energy the following week. See, time and energy are finite resources that, if managed effectively, will increase both your productivity and your success. So to recap, start your day with some you time that is positive and energizing. It could be exercise, listening to music, or something as simple as setting your intention for the day. Review your time log and brutally honestly assess your activities and find out where your time leaks are. And 3, make sure that your calendar includes building activities and not just selling. And last, plan your highest energy actions for whenever your energy levels are highest. How you manage your actions in relation to time spent will directly impact your earning potential. You want to earn more? Start by taking action today.
So nothing earth-shattering new, but obviously for me, affirming in the fact that these are the things I've been, talking with you all. In fact, yesterday with Yona's group, we talked about some of these things. and about time blocking. I'm a huge proponent of time blocking and really looking back and seeing how I've spent my time. And I literally now, over these, what I've been doing for the last almost 9 weeks now, I can pretty much tell you, if you said 1:15, I could tell you what I'm doing at 1:15. 4:30, I could tell you what I'm doing at 4:30, because it's just I'm in this pattern, I'm in this routine, and it's a good one. It's not a, it's a focused pattern, and I'm wasting very little time. I've got some things I'd like to be doing, and I know that I'm being productive, and I've got lots going on because I'm not getting these couple things that I'd like to be doing for me, versus the other things. But what things jump out at you guys when you think of that whole aspect of energy versus time management? What jumps out at you?
I'm thinking, I really am.
I can see it's a little thing spinning over your head that I'm watching.
Oh, I know.
Go ahead, Joan.
I remember years ago, Mr. Quayle said one time to me in a meeting, one-on-one meeting, do you know what your time is worth per hour? Have you figured it out? And I said, no. And he said, well, put it on paper. Let's do this math, because he likes to do math and I don't. And then when he did, he said, are you using that X dollars per hour profitably all the time? And I was like, no. He said, well, if you're meeting with people that you don't think are going to go anywhere, you need to let them know how much you're worth. And so I started saying, they'll say, well, what are the fees? And do I have to pay the 6%? And I know somebody's going to do it for 3 and 2. And I said a couple times, yes, it's 6%. I'm worth 10. And so people thought, whoa, okay. And so I've used that line, but it wasn't cocky or smart ass. It was like, this is what you get.
Yep.
So, Frank knows the numbers. I mean, he knew the numbers, and he said, you know what your time is worth per hour, don't you? And I was like, I have no idea. So anyway, just wanted to add that.
No, that's really good. And just to piggyback on that a little bit, in regards to the listing presentation, when you can do a pie chart, which we've talked about in training, if you do a circle and you draw a line right down the middle of that circle, and on the left side you say buyer compensation 3%. Well, now you've gotten that seller to understand that it's not about 6%, it's about 3%. Mm-hmm. And then of that 3%, how is it going to be allocated, right? So there's marketing, there's this is insurance, there's the years of experience, there's all these different things, and all of a sudden you can handle that objection from the seller that, oh my gosh, you're getting 6% of this. Well, no, I'm not. 3% is going out to another agent, and then of this 3%, I've got all these things that I've got to pay. One, to market your property, to do the different thing. Example, if you're using Justine as far as contract processing, I've got somebody who's doing the processing to make sure that this thing goes properly. And it can really, that picture can really make the seller realize that it's not just this free money, that it is. And again, the other part of it is, and we're going to be, you guys don't know this yet, but this coming Tuesday, a week from today at 7 o'clock, we're going to do a virtual seller seminar, like we did the home buyer seminar. And I'm going to be talking to, we'll be getting that information out to you. Vince and I have been talking about it a little bit. Bill Tucker is going to be on the call. Jim, hopefully from JBIS Home Inspector, is going to be on the call. And Joe Gentile is going to come on the call talking about virtual Pearl certification. They've got 2 different virtual certifications now. And part of that process, I'm going to be explaining to sellers, it's not really about marketing your house. It's about, once it's sold, getting it to closing. I mean, Carl just talked about, he had a loan that was a coin toss, whether it was going to go or not. He worked his tail off, I'm sure, for X amount of time. And he had a win yesterday. It closed. It could not have closed, but, and that's the other part of it. It could not have closed, and all that effort that he put in, all the hours of effort that he put in, he's not going to get paid for. And the same thing with us. We're in our business, we do a lot of stuff for free with the hope that ultimately we're going to get paid. And so anyway, it's a really good point, Joan, about, you know, really understanding where that money's going so that you can handle that type of objection. Other things that you're dealing with. I mean, I love the thing, and the guy said, you know, you go into the office, you get a cup of coffee. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to be going to the coffee and being distracted by people, you know, talking in the kitchen? You know, I'm looking forward to that day again. But being at home, it can be even harder, right? Because you're home, and there are all sorts. I've never liked to work at home. Even from when I was a young guy, I didn't like working at home. I liked when I was home, and when I was, you know, working. So this has been really difficult. I've literally had to make a place that I go to work. And the only time I'm allowed in that room is for the most part, is when I'm working. So that when I go downstairs, I'm relaxing. When I sit on the front porch, I'm relaxing, that kind of thing. How are you all handling that in regards to keeping your energy up and managing your time well?
Michael, good morning. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Somewhere in Louisa here, I'm not sure exactly where, but I found it to be, at least for me, I found it to be extremely useful if I set myself a start date and an end date, and I work in time increments of 45 minutes to 60 minutes and set myself a clock. That I found to be helped me a great deal.
Yeah, that's great. And, you know, like we were talking about yesterday, this whole aspect of working when you're most productive. You talked about the fact that, you've got to get a lot of stuff done in the morning because that's when you're best. And I got to thinking about that because when we were talking to Bevan, you know, Yona gets up at 6 in the morning. So from 6 to noon, that's 6 hours. So if that's almost a full work day in some ways. And so she's trying to get as much as she can done before noon, right? Whereas Bevan doesn't get up till 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So her noon in Yona's situation would be 2. We got people who are not morning people, being Joan, who is in the office, you know, later than most people because she's not a morning person, and her, you know, she's more of a night owl, and that's okay. You know, so it's about when is my energy best? When do I get my best work done? And that's when you're scheduling the things that you need to do. Now, calling people, that may be a little tough if it's 10 at night, but you certainly can sit and communicate with people by email. You might want to think not about texting because some people have their phones in their bedrooms and they don't want to be dinged at you or having you ding at them. But again, when are you most productive? When is your highest energy? And that's where you want to have, you know, a good portion of the things that you're trying to accomplish on a daily basis. Other thoughts?
Okay, I realized something a little while ago, Michael, that about time and energy management. What I realized is, you know, I for my job, there's X number of things I need to do in order to be effective. You know, there's other things that I want to do besides my job. But if I've reached the point where, you know, these activities are taking up all my energy, whether or not I have the time, you know, to do this or to do that outside it is another story. So I've come to realize that, and I've talked to my sales coach about this, and this is not an easy thing for me because I am a control freak and I hate letting go of stuff. I hate delegating. Although Jay is worse than me. I'm going to say that right here and now. You know, I've realized
this is being recorded, so I'll make sure
right.
we set that today.
Oh, I'll tell him that to his face, and he'd probably agree. What I realized is, you know, if I'm going to be able to set aside the energy to do something else, you know, that means that I've got to find ways to delegate more stuff in my job. So sometimes it's not a matter of how much activities can you stuff into your workday. If you find out at the end of the day you just don't have the bandwidth for these other things that are important to you, then, you know, maybe it's time to take a look at getting some help of one kind or another.
No, I mean, great point. Again, that goes back to the whole fact of, you know, what's your time worth? I mean, If your time is worth $30 an hour or $50 an hour or whatever the case may be, then why aren't you paying somebody $15 an hour to do some things? One of the reasons we created what Justine does, $200 for her to, handle all the processing of stuff, managing of the process so that you can be more face-to-face with people, whether it's face-to-face with clients or volunteering or, whatever the case may be. So, all those are good points. And one of the things I liked, I'm a big, proponent of the fact that, I want to control the market versus the market controlling me. He said it a different way with the calendar. I'd never heard it this way before, but if your calendar is blank, it could be a sign that your calendar is creating your schedule versus you creating the calendar, right? And so that's why in my situation, in my calendar, there are things already blocked into the calendar every day that when I open up, it's already there. So as an example today, got this, and then, Carl's virtual open house thing, and then I've got free enterprise forum, and then I've got a lunch thing, and then I've got a leading RE thing this afternoon. All those things are already in my calendar. So if somebody calls me up and says, can we do this? Or emails me, can we have a conversation? When I open my calendar, those things are already in there. My notes, I had things I had to do this morning as far as writing some notes and things like that. They're in my calendar. So that if somebody says something, says, hey, can we do this at such and such? I can say, gosh, I'd love to get with you, but I'm going to be on a training Zoom call from 9:30 to 10:30 today. Well, if you don't have the training Zoom call in your calendar and somebody says that, you end up saying, yeah, let's have a virtual cup of coffee at 9:30. And then you go, oh my gosh, I wanted to be on that Zoom call. But I've already scheduled it. So then I go, oh, I couldn't be there because, or you're showing property. I couldn't be there today because I was, I was showing property. Well, if you have it in your calendar, and I'm not saying it has to be the training, it can be other things, prospecting, things like that. You can say, hey, I want to show you property today, but I can't do it at 9:30, but I could do it at 11, right? Because that is already in your calendar. So you're scheduling around it. And again, your you time that this guy talked about. And that's so important that you're scheduling, you're literally in your calendar. It says that you're going to go walk for half an hour, or you're going to go sit on the porch and read a book for what amount of time, or whatever the case may be. And that's going to allow you and help you get energized to do the work stuff later. So I don't know, have any of you had any success with that, or have you done it and seen it work? Or go ahead, Vincent.
Well, all these AHA meetings, there's always like kernels that stick, right? You always grab a couple takeaways that stick. So in this video, at the beginning, you said start with a positive beginning of your day. And then Jim Hinshaw kind of mirrored that when he spoke, and I wrote all those down. Write your 3 gratitudes, write your 3 opportunities, and plan tomorrow today. So planning tomorrow today is one of my biggest, was my biggest breakthrough. At the end of the night, before I close the laptop, I've got a list of tomorrow, my calendar's set. And I wake up, I can be positive. I'm not scrambling, I'm not scrambled eggs trying to figure out what I'm going to do that day. Yep. So it also allows me time to play my guitar when I want to, right? Schedule a little me time in there, and then do other things. So all these little kernels are kind of threaded through every AHA that we have. And I'm grateful for that.
Yep.
So plan tomorrow today.
There's one of your 3 gratitudes right there, brother.
Yeah, there it is.
Just checked off a gratitude for this morning.
I did. All right.
Yeah. Good stuff. Any other thoughts before we go to the next thing? Go ahead, Barb.
The timing of this COVID-19 thing has kind of coincided with us being settled in our new house. And it's gotten me up here to the loft area, which is...
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I love it. And it's gotten me up here more regularly for the Zoom meetings and my notes and my calls. And so it's really been good. Now, one of the things on our schedule that it's been kind of pretty regular, has been walking Dick's up to 4 to 5 miles a day. I'm not, I'm at like maybe 2, but that kind of has depended on the weather because the days have been so mixed up. Usually it's in the afternoon. And that's been really good. I can't start my morning off with a walk yet, maybe when it gets warmer, but that's been really good for both of us.
That's great. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears a little bit. If I had the same success I had the last time, and we've got that's the wrong one. Yeah, there we go. We have the opportunity through the Leading RE Institute to have do some stuff with Ninja. Ninja is a nationwide real estate training program. We haven't done a lot of this because we are so committed to Buffini and the things that Yona's doing. But during this COVID-19, Leading RE has opened this up for us to use. And so I'm going to try to get this one, if I can figure out how to open it. And I think I need to close this one first. Why isn't that opening? All right, if I share the screen, Vincent, maybe you can help me figure this out.
Okay.
This is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm using one of my lifelines here.
It's all right.
Let's see, share screen. There we go. And I'm going to go to this guy, and I'm going to say share computer. Okay, there we go. So I'm sharing the screen.
Did you check the full screen box next to it? Be sure and check that as well.
Well, the problem is, oh, okay, hang on.
So we see it full screen.
Okay, so how do I go back out? Oh, let's stop share again.
Yeah.
Go to share screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, optimize screen.
Correct.
Okay. So there we are. See it? Are you guys seeing that?
No.
You're not seeing the screen?
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I see it.
So Vincent, why see Ninja
I see it.
105? Do you see Ninja 105 here?
107, 106. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so
I see it.
why won't that, when I click it, why won't it start?
Open.
Open sesame.
Is
Open
there a link?
Am I not in the right place, maybe?
Scroll to the top.
Michael, you
See,
may
course
have to
bundle.
open the link before you zoom.
Oh, wait,
it.
I got it. No, I just need to register.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You're not
Thank you,
logged in.
Yona.
There you go.
Yona.
There you go.
Way to go, Yona.
Yona, your assistant
Yona
is
rules.
calling you.
she's like our Alexa.
He is. I know it. Yeah.
Well, as long as I can hear you guys, I'm definitely.
All right, I think it's going to work.
Talk later.
It takes a village.
Bravo,
go.
Michael, bravo.
No, bravo, everybody else. It's amazing when you register. Okay, here we go. Everybody hear it?
Hello and welcome to Ninja Selling. Thank you for joining us. My name is Larry Kendall and I'm going to be your guide for this segment called Principles of Ninja Selling. We really appreciate your investment in this Leading RE Institute class. My background, I grew up in Kansas and I sold real estate for the last 40 years in Colorado. And our real estate company, the Group Real Estate in Fort Collins, Colorado, is a Leading RE company. And we have found that the Ninja Selling system has really helped us. In fact, we've been named by Realtor Magazine and by RealTrends as the most productive real estate company in the United States in terms of transactions per agent. And we believe it's a Ninja Selling system that helped us get there. So what we're going to do is offer you the essence of ninja selling, the 4 basic principles in this course through the Leading RE Institute. The goal of ninja selling is to help you increase your income per hour so that you can have a life. What we have found is that realtors can find themselves working all the time. And is this a business where you can work all the time and not make any money? So this course is not about how to increase your income. It's how to increase your income per hour, how to be more efficient with your time so that you can have a life. What we have found is there's 3 keys to your success. Key number 1 is your mindset. Key number 2 is your skill set. And key number 3 are the actions that you take on a daily basis. We've also found that there are 4 key principles. And those are the principles that we're going to cover in this section. Principle number 1 is to stop selling. You know, what we have found is people love to buy, they hate to be sold. So stop selling. Secondly is the business strategy, which is to focus primarily on working with people who know you, like you, and trust you. Build a relationship business. Principle number 3 is to be customer-centric. Understand the customer, understand their personalities, understand how they make decisions, and focus on the customer. And then finally, for your business to get better, you may have to get better. What we know is the better we get, the better our business gets. And so this commitment to personal mastery is really the 4th principle. The Socratic method is one of the keys to ninja selling. And the Socratic method comes from Socrates, who was a great teacher. And his method of teaching was to ask questions. Socrates believed that first of all, by asking questions, he would keep the student more engaged, because when he asked a question, the student had to respond. And secondly, he believed that the answer lied within the student. If he could help the student become clear, that was the key. What we find in ninja selling is this. If we ask questions, we keep connected with our customers. And we believe the answers lie within the customer. This is probably the biggest challenge that I've had in teaching realtors. Most real estate people have been taught to tell and sell, as opposed to ask questions and listen. You see, it's not what we say, it's what we ask that's the key. You know, the ninja way is very different. We say ask, not tell. Why? Because we'll learn a lot more and we'll stay connected. Pull, not push. So many salespeople are constantly pushing their message, pushing their product, pushing themselves. Ninja is pulling information out of the customer, asking questions, listening, pulling. In fact, what we notice is the ninjas who are using social media the best are not pushing their message on social media. Instead, they're using social media to pull information about their clients. You know, Facebook is an amazing database, for example. And you can go on there and find out who's taking trips, who's having babies, who's getting promoted, who's having birthdays. And you can pull that information from that resource, and you can interact with people based on that. Probe, not pitch. People hate to be pitched. What's the pitch of ninja selling? Ninja selling's pitch is that there is no pitch. We're going to spend our time probing, asking questions, building relationships, not pitching. We don't do listing presentations, we do listing consultations. We don't sell, we solve. We'll show you later in the 4-step ninja selling process of how we work towards solutions. And finally, it's all about the server mindset. Serve, not sell. Have the servant's mind and the servant's approach to the business. Ninja selling is a user-friendly selling system, and when we say something is user-friendly, well, who's it user-friendly for? Well, it's user-friendly for us because we're not selling. And it's user-friendly for our customers because we're not selling. And it's a system. When we say something is a system, what do we mean by that? Well, a system should have 4 ingredients. Number 1, it's a documented methodology of doing things, such that you could hand it to somebody. The entire ninja selling system is about 200 pages of questions, systems, and what we've done is we've condensed that into what we call the Ninja Digest, and we have that available for you to download in your materials. And so you have in your hands the ninja selling system. Secondly, a system should give you predictable results. You work the system should work for you. Regardless of your personality, so many realtors sell on strength of their personality. And when I see that, that is great, but that's not something that's what we call a teachable skill. What we've done is in the Ninja selling system, we've identified those skills that can be taught to anyone, regardless of their personality, and it will work for them. Also, what we will do is we will not sell according to our personality, we'll sell according to our customer's personality. And finally, it should work regardless of the market you're in. Whether you're in the Aspen, Colorado market, or the Charleston, South Carolina market, or the Seattle, Washington market, or the Calgary market in Canada, or the Madrid market in Spain. Ninja selling should work regardless of the market that you're in. If you have something that works for you, then you can be what we call an on-purpose realtor. If you work the system works. And you can do things on purpose because you know they're going to work for you. So many realtors don't have a system. As a result, they end up being what we call on-accident realtors. They roam around the marketplace working hard, and on accident, they put transactions together. Wouldn't it be more fun to have a system that you could work and know on purpose that by working the system would work for you, and that you could increase your income per hour? The Ninja selling system basically is this. When you work the system will work for you. There's a wonderful ninja up in Victoria, British Columbia by the name of Dennis, and he put this TSW sign on his office door, and he sent me a picture of the sign. TSW is a ninja mantra, which means the system works, or this stuff works. And Dennis knows that if he works the system will work for him. And he told me, he says, Larry, I took my name off the door, and I put TSW on the door. And the reason is because that's a constant reminder for me every day when I come to work, for me to work the system, and the system will work for me. Jennings Doyle is a ninja realtor up with Windermere Real Estate in Seattle, Washington. Windermere is also a leading RE company. And I love the quote from Jennings. She wrote me a note. She says, Larry, thanks for putting the humanity back in selling. Ninja reminds me of emergency directions on an airplane. Put your own oxygen mask on so that you can better help others. That's what Ninja is to me. It's oxygen. So what are the key takeaways from this introduction? Well, first of all, our goal is to help you increase your income per hour. Secondly, is to focus on asking good questions instead of telling. Use the Socratic method. What we know is if you have a good system, it will keep you on purpose, and you can become an on-purpose realtor. The three keys are your mindset, your skill set, and your actions. And there's 4 principles of ninja selling, which we've just gone over. We'll go into detail on those in the rest of this program. Our next section will cover the first principle, which is to stop selling. If you have any questions on ninja selling, please go to our website, ninjaselling.com, and we appreciate you joining us for this Leading RE class on the ninja principles of ninja selling. Thank you.
So a lot of parallels for most of you on here. A lot of parallels with Buffini, right? And that's why we, have focused on Buffini for all these years. But I think it's good to, kind of hear it from different people. And since we have this opportunity right now, and Logan and Julie and Matt and Ryan have just finished up Yona's mastery class, we're going to just kind of we're just going to kind of go through these over the next several weeks, and hopefully just give you some additional arrows in the quiver, if you will, tools in your toolbox. As Vincent said, if I can get one little thing out of each thing that I watch, then I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today. And that's, that's the focus, is just one step at a time, failing forward. Logan, I think it was you yesterday, Logan McKeithen, I think it was you yesterday that you were talking to your friend in DC, and you realized how much you've learned over these last several months. Even though you're feeling like, Holly Day, I really want to get going, and am I going to get a couple deals, close by the end of the year and that kind of thing. And in my opinion, I didn't say this yesterday, but I absolutely think you will. And I'm looking forward to that. But when you're doing just little things each day, you don't notice the change until it's down the road. Joan, you run all your life. And it's that same thing that I forget who said this, but you can go to the gym today, and no, you can't. You might be able to do it Friday. But if you went to the gym on Friday and then went to the gym on Saturday, went to the gym on Sunday, on Monday, and you look to the mirror, you're probably not going to see any change yet, right? You're going to feel it. Yona talking yesterday about doing some lunges and realizing just how out of shape she was, and I'm saying that because she said that publicly to us yesterday. But the point being is, you're not going to see it Monday. But if you keep going to the gym for a couple of weeks and look in the mirror, you will see a difference, because it was just a little bit each and every day. And for me, I know that's true in my own life right now, in that having lost all the weight with Guillain-Barré and trying to stay fit, there's a discipline to it. And at first I could only walk a little bit, and now I'm sort of back to doing things fairly normally again, other than the stamina. But that was months upon months of getting to that place. So I just want to encourage you by that. And Logan, McKeithen, will you say something?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry.
Okay, it looked like
I'm sighing.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
It's a sigh. I'm sorry.
No, sighing is okay. Sighing is okay. Yeah, for sure. Also you have to, again, this whole aspect of gratitude and understanding that your situation, yes, is your situation, but there are other people that have it worse. And the example for me last night is I called my son, FaceTime my son, because I hadn't heard from him, and I knew that his 5, almost 6-year-old was not feeling well. And he looked great. He answered the FaceTime call, and his hair was all combed, and he didn't look like this. And I said, JM, you look awesome. He said, well, that's because Caroline just threw up all over me and I had to go take a shower. And so they got the throw ups in their house. And they're actually taking Jack right now to get a COVID-19 test. Their little 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old. Now, there's a good chance he doesn't have it, but he's had a little fever. And, with everything that's happening, I think it's the right decision. But I wish I could have videoed him yesterday, because the kids were just going crazy, right? I don't think he'd mind me telling you guys this story, but the kids are going crazy. And he just had the phone looking at me with his face like this. And everybody, and then all of a sudden the phone went down, and all I could see was the ceiling. And it was because Charlie, who's the 2-year-old and is just the sweetest little kid, was trying to bite his brother. And so JM obviously had to go deal with it. And the next thing I see is Jack's head coming onto the FaceTime going, Charlie just tried to bite me, because he knew Charlie was getting in trouble, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I can get discouraged. I can feel a little bit sequestered in this, but I don't have 3 children running around in my house. And Vincent, you certainly not that young, but you certainly understand what I'm saying. So we all have different perspectives, right? And I think it's important for us to, to stay focused in that regard. What sort of takeaways did you get out of that 10-minute video?
I've got one that I forgot about. Years ago, there was a couple that were at our RIO office. This is when we had 4 local buildings. And Forrest and Becky, their names were, they were like in their 60s or 70s. But Forrest was a lovely elderly man. And we would film our listing presentations. And Forrest, and then mine was filmed and his was filmed, and then we'd show them to the group, and he would sit and not say anything. And I would be chatty Cathy, just running my mouth during a listing presentation. Forrest would sit there, and we're like, Forrest, aren't you telling these people anything, and he would just ask a few pertinent questions. And that was his style, and he did so well. And I was like, oh, if I could only zip it up. But he knew more about his clients than I did because I was overrunning them with my chatter. So after that, I decided I was going to become soft aggressive. I still want to be soft, but I just want to be aggressive. But I remember, and I think the gentleman mentioned that about that, ask questions. Don't be a pitch man.
Probing.
Yeah, use car salesman, just leave it alone and just sit there and listen. But it's hard for people that chatter a lot.
Kate Ryan called me the other day. She's a very successful realtor up in Northern Virginia. And we were talking about, we both do this thing. You heard me talk about it at the beginning of the year. I choose one word to focus on for the year. And we were talking about that. And she said that her word for this year was pause. And she had no idea what she was getting into.
What was in store?
She decided her word was going to be pause. And so we had
her.
Yeah, we had a really good laugh. We had a really
Right.
good laugh about it. But the one thing she said, Joan, that reminded me of it, is she said it's really worked in her buyer and seller consultations. That's another thing I liked about this, consultation versus presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But it really works when you have an attitude or you have a thought process of pausing. Before I'm going to say anything else, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to let that person, because what happens is when we pause and we quiet ourselves down, oftentimes the other person's uncomfortable with that and they'll keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just ask them another question. You can probe with another question and they just keep talking. And so not only do you get more information, Joan, but you also, they think, than you do, but they even think even more that you care about them because you're listening to them and you're hearing their story and you're trying to find out exactly what it is that they're trying to do.
Yep.
I saw that in action on Sunday at our family dinner. I'm not very good at asking questions, but Laura, our daughter-in-law, was asking Dick so many questions about his background, about his dad, about his mom, and just learned so much about him because of her questions. Yeah. It was just such a good example to me that I need to really work on that. And for business too. Not.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was in college, I took a class in journalism, and this was kind of back in the old days of journalism. But they, one of the lessons that sticks with me to this day is that once you ask a question, you should just stop talking. You should just sit there and not say anything, because people feel compelled to fill the silence. And whether you're selling or in trying to learn more about the client, or you're a journalist trying to learn more about the subject, people will talk and they'll give you the information that you're looking for.
Yep.
If you give them the space to fill, they will fill it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you feel like this is helpful. Just to take in different things. My degree is in physical education. I have a master's in counselor education, and in counseling, we looked at all sorts of different counseling techniques. There's the reflective, kind of like what we just talked about, asking questions. And when they say something, say, well, what the way I think you're feeling is, or what I hear you saying is, and you can use those in real estate. So what I hear you saying is that this is where you're resisting, ready to buy right now, or not wanting to move forward in this house. Am I hearing you correctly, kind of thing. So you're reflecting back to them what they've said. And then there's the directive, and going back to you saying, Joan, being what was it she said? You said aggressive, but
soft aggressive.
Soft aggressive, right. So there's a directive aspect of things. And so I found myself becoming what I called an eclectic counselor, because there were some people I needed to be directive to, and there were other people that I needed to reflect. And I think that's the whole aspect of these training things, is finding the little things that you're comfortable with and that you can kind of grab a hold of and say, okay, yeah, I could do that. Oh, no, I'm not so good at that one. I don't think that's what I want to do, but yes, I could do that. And at the end of the day, that you find your way in regards to what you want your business to look like and how you want to go about, doing the business. So that's sort of my goal in kind of going through these things.
Cool.
Well, 10:30, 7 minutes. You get a chance to go get a cup of coffee, go to the restroom, and then you can join Carl with the Verge. How many you got going, Carl?
I think I have 5
Awesome.
properties this week. So yeah, so I've everybody feel free to join in. I think Jay's going to be part of it too. So we've got and the agents who are featuring these listings will tell you about them and answer questions and stuff like that.
Great.
It'll be cool.
And the other thing too, just a couple of reminders for you guys. You should have gotten a message from CAR Communications yesterday. The NAR mid-year meetings are going on starting today through Thursday. If you go in and register, you can go in and find the calendar of the different classes and things that you might find interesting. It's all free. That's what I've always loved about the mid-year meetings. They've always been free. I mean, obviously you had to go to DC and pay for a hotel room, but for the most part, you could go wander around for a couple days. I'm guessing they're not doing the trade show virtually. But anyway, so, take the time to look at that and maybe pick up a couple things that you can watch over the next couple of days. And then Thursday at 10, Jay's going to do a financial overview training class. That came out of something that Julie Ballard said the other day about the fact that she just would love to have a little bit of a better idea about VA, FHA, VHJ, all the different types of financing programs. And Vince and I looked around yesterday on our YouTube channel, and I know Jay's done that before, but I couldn't find it. So I just said, hey, Jay, how about if you do it on Thursday? So he's going to do it Thursday at 10. So that'll be coming up, and we'll get that recorded. So it will be on the YouTube channel. But other than that, hang in there, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.